Good morning. You ever felt alone and realized how absolutely glorious it is? Like when you're home alone and suddenly realize no one's around and you can walk around the house in your underwear. Yeah, true story. Today's show is all about embracing the power. No pants required, judgment free. Coming up this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where
When something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting John.
If the lady's saying that, you're just
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that
Hey, good morning, everybody. All right, friends, buckle up. We're diving into the hustle that's burning men out in 2025. Yes, your side hustle might just be killing you softly, as the old Fugees say. Fugees? I don't, Jimmy, what is it? But we got the stats and we got the solutions to pull you back from the brink. Plus, little Winnipeg Jets update. They didn't play last night. You guys are getting after it tomorrow. A little NHL update here. And in center stage, we got Mark Schneider joining us to reveal how life's storms could be your greatest creative unlock. And speaking of chaos, are you eating healthy, but you're still gaining weight? We're going to expose the sneaky protein gap, sabotaging your gains in the protein break, coming up later on in the hour. Michael Robert Kessler joins us hour two, swinging by with some beautifully weird indie films that'll make your Netflix suggestions look downright boring. And guys, listen, remember to smash the like button, subscribe, and drop your comments below. We're watching, and yes, this is an R-rated experience. Hide your kids, grab the headphones, and for those that are loving the productivity, reminder, don't hit the snooze button. You hit the snooze, you're 9 minutes behind the guy who doesn't. So if you're running late today, don't do it tomorrow, guys. Get up, get after it, and join Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys start your day loaded with laughs, insights, actions, accountability, and good habit stacking tips. All right, Jimmy, let's bring the boys in. And then we got my brother Johnny sitting there hanging tight patiently in the confines of his wonderful studio in Mexico. What's going on, brother?
what's happening, brother? Can you hear me okay?
I'm off.
The
Really loud and
microphone. Beautiful. We're dialed in. Let's go, baby.
we are dialed in and beautiful. How are you, man? What's going on today? How was your Dune buggy ride yesterday?
You know, the Dune buggy didn't actually get. They're still working on it, unfortunately.
Oh.
So yeah. So I just said, so sorry. We took the Razor down there. That's it.
Oh.
It's a little less nostalgic, but it'd be like the difference between driving like an old muscle car or like a 1960 something Corvette or like a Corvette of today.
Oh, yeah. So what's the Razor compared to the nude buggy? What is that?
Fuck, dude, the Razor is like, I mean, it's almost dangerous how fast this thing is. It's
Really?
Oh yeah, it's got like it's a 4-cylinder motor, but it sounds like a motorcycle, and it revs to like 12,000 RPMs. It'll probably go. I mean, I've gone to 100 miles an hour, but it'll probably go 130 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it'll go that anywhere on the fucking beach, on the street, you name it.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, it's honestly it's one of those kind of like, it's kind of like my motorcycle is that you know like I ride a CRF 450R, which means it's basically race ready. That's the same thing with this. They take these right into the off-road race, but it's so I mean you go down the beach and you can just do anything you want. Go up like steep hills and all sorts of crazy shit. So, but there's something about the buggy, you know, it's like you're just like you're not driving around in a fucking Razor with a cigar. How's that?
Yeah.
You're fucking holding on. You're white, even the driver, you know, you're white knuckling, you know.
There's something magical about a dune buggy out in the dunes, the sand beaches. It's just magical. It's magical, isn't it? Like you got the cigar, door
fun. Say again.
Doors.
You're okay. How do I describe? Jimmy, look up like I don't know what you'd call it. It's So it's basically like the big fucking like the fenders are big, and it's like you'd see one of these things like mine's yellow.
Yeah,
picture one like fucking purple or green. Like it's a 1970s looking truck. So there's no top at all.
Yeah,
there's no doors. There's no top. It's just a roll cage over the top.
Yeah, I have a vision for it. I absolutely have a vision for it. I can just see you cruising along the beaches there and in and out of the water, up and down the sand dunes. And is there a roll cage on the thing?
Yeah, I'm actually going to have the thing rebuilt. It's little. It's definitely it's been used pretty good. But funny enough, the Sea Cortez is so. The reason it's in the shop is because of this. The Sea Cortez is the salt level is off the charts. Like they say, it's actually the best place in the world to take a salt bath. You just go sit in there, right? They try to duplicate. Yeah. They try to duplicate. Sitting in salty water has like positive effects.
Yeah.
They try to duplicate it, but they can't. But here's the thing: it's so fucking salty. You take a machine in there, and it just fucking corrodes the hell out of it. Right. Once that salt dries on shit, it's like, so anyway, I had some of my company was down last year.
Yeah.
And one of my guys took it and fucking ran it into about 6 inches of water, didn't understand. And if you were to do that, you would have to hose it off immediately, and it still would fuck it up. By the time, he drove it for another hour, by the time he got back, I looked at him like, did you take this thing in the water? So I didn't go in the water. It just went in just a few inches. So it fucked it up, dude. The throttle cable froze, all the wiring corroded. So it's like, yeah. Anyway.
Water's such a misleading thing, eh? We see it. We have these assumptions that it's just this clean substance, yet you go to the Sea of Cortez, all that salt in it, and it corrodes and attacks the environment so rapidly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's water in general. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, water running will go through anything over time.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true.
That's kind of the model for consistency that we talk about.
Well, isn't that true? Eh? Just stream. Just be a stream and just keep doing it over and over, and you're gonna wear out the environment around you. That's actually a good analogy. Be a stream, because if you be a stream, you're gonna last out everybody else. How long you guys in Mexico for?
So we're actually gonna be down here for Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah,
then,
big.
Yeah, so we're gonna be here for. They love that shit down here. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to Vegas from here and do some collabs with some people. So
fun.
Basically, yes. And then we'll probably stay home for a couple of weeks and come back.
Oh yeah.
We're both wishing that we're working out to leave. So that's the beautiful thing about not having to. I can do what I do wherever I am. So we just do what we do and keep on having fun.
What do you want, a 6-hour drive?
Yeah,
that's not bad at all, actually.
No, and what we do is, we have it kind of broken up. There's a little place that we stop and eat. It's not always open, but it's like the most authentic. It's like it's probably about an hour over the border, and we don't cross it at Tijuana. We cross at Mexicali, so it's not the cesspool of crime. Like everybody thinks with Tijuana, but this, they have these little villages along the way. Like you'll be on this highway, and there'll be nothing for 30 minutes, and there'll be a tiny little village. Like when I say village, like probably 30 homes, and usually they'll have like one little tiny convenience store, and then there'll be like one taqueria, and those fucking things are nuts, dude, because they literally are. They're like, when you get the carne, the beef, the fucking cow lived behind the fucking little taqueria. I mean, it probably fucking killed it the day before. So I mean, it's different type of,
And the one that's over there in the pasture is getting eaten next month.
Well, dude, the crazy part is when you see like every time a friend comes down to this, when you're driving, you drive past different farms as you see, they're like, what's wrong with the cows? Yeah. Like, look, that's what a cow looks like if he just stays in the fucking field and eats grass. We're just so used to seeing these fucking swole up, hormoned up motherfuckers. We don't recognize what an actual fucking cow should look like. He's just been eating fucking grass.
Right. I spent some time in the Azores a couple years ago, and I saw some cows out there, and I looked at them, Johnny, and I'm like, oh, That's not a North American cow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. So, dude, first time I saw them, I thought they were sick. What the fuck,
I
man?
know that's
What
exactly
kind of fucking disease? How do these fuckers all have the same disease? Is what I'm thinking.
why do they all look the same? And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, they're eating normal. And you know what? It's just like some chickens too. You see some normal chickens compared to some beefed up chickens, dude. What's going on, Marty?
What's up, baby?
How are you, pal?
You know, hey, I'm here, baby. Can't complain. I woke up this morning. I helped some people.
I love it.
Now with the two uncles, my two white uncles.
Talking about overweight cows and chickens that you see out in the back. Marty, have you seen a regular sized cow before, like in real life? Like just not a bulked up cow? And I'm serious. Have you seen them before?
Yeah, I think outside of the US.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like when I go to the Caribbean and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're sick, but that's just how a fucking cow looks if he's just been out in the pasture eating grass.
You look at it, you're like, is that a cow?
Yeah. The US, it's $1 billion business to keep our backs big.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, you know what? Speaking of cow,
yeah.
Tonight I'm actually one of our friends because we got people that we know down here come from all over. One of our friends is a big Wyoming rancher.
Oh yeah,
and huge hunting. Like he's got a hunting ranch, you know. So anyway, we're actually going over. He invited us over tonight for elk steaks, which I'm fucking really looking forward to.
Elk steaks. That sounds good.
Elk steaks.
I don't mind elk.
Elk is elk basically just looks like a really fucking mobile cow with some massive fucking horns.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah. Good morning, Adam Hoy. Good to see you there in the comments, everybody. Hey guys, I found something interesting here this morning. You ever feel like your battery low light is flashing before you finish your first coffee? A brand new survey says that 36% of US bros, are officially burned out.
Repeat that. 30% of what?
36% of U.S. professionals, not bros, professionals.
Okay, I was like, bros. Well, that's a fucking pretty broad term, dude.
I know. My eyes.
Johnny got to catch up to me and you, Keith. I put it together.
Oh, Marty, my eyes were cross-eyed for a moment there. At 36% of U.S. professionals are officially burned out, and a full 1/3 say they're hotter, smokier, and more frazzled than they were just a year ago. Guys, there's some things happening across society here where burnout isn't just a personal bad day in a business crisis. Companies with fried teams are seeing 42% higher turnover during staffing delays. The problem is, here we go. What's this here? Burnout is climbing. Almost 40% of people are feeling burned out. 33% are saying it's worse than last year. And guys, heavy workloads, lack of support, or no growth path from their colleagues. John, Marty, comments on people feeling burnt out. And then, hey, here's who's feeling it most. Hold on. Millennials, 40%. Gen Z, 39%. Working parents, 38%. And staff at small firms, 37%. And remote teams, almost 70%. The bottom line is a lot of people are feeling burned out. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know.
Cut me loose on this. Cut me loose. Tell him,
ahead,
here
John.
I come. Tell him, Mark. God damn it, here I come. It's fucking simple. There's a statistic that fucking supports this. And both of you guys busted me up one day. Where did you get this? It's actually Dan Pena. So Dan Pena speaks to this all the time, but he's not the only one. Most high performers that talk about this. This was years ago, so I'm sure this percentage got up. 87% of fucking people are not inspired and don't like their jobs. If you don't fucking like what you're doing, of course you're gonna fucking burn out. How many people do you know that are burned out when they're serving their fucking purpose?
Yes.
No,
hit the button, Marty. God damn it. Get the button.
I got you.
Slow on. No. Give me that one. You know,
oh, you want that one?
When you're serving your purpose, you don't burn out, right?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all.
Yeah, I had to.
So all these fucking studies are focused around people that are not fucking doing shit the way that they've been programmed to do it, the way society wants to do it. They didn't fucking break any of the goddamn rules, so they're burned out.
Marty.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had to force myself to go to sleep the past 2 nights just because I've been You know, I've been grinding
Yeah,
up at
dude.
night late, almost staying up
Dude.
24 freaking hours. I got to get some sleep, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, burnout thrives in silence, eh? Like it's one of those things that, you know, people don't talk about it, and they're burning out there in the corner, they're burning out there in the back room, they're burning out there in the bedroom. And I applaud you, Marty, for having that awareness, which is, fuck, I better do something about this, or else I'm going to find myself burning out down the road, right? And I know you love what you do, but the reality is that if you keep doing it, you're going to bang your head and you're eventually going to burn out. I'm with Johnny here. I think that I know we're oversimplifying it, but I'm suspecting a lot of the burnout just has to deal with just the bullshit that people deal with. They get up, hate to go to their job and hate doing what they're doing. And next thing you know, they're like, fuck, I just don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. And the thing about it, and I've used this, I've said this phrase before, I'm going to use the word that I was bust you up for once to make a point. Even the shit you love, you're going to hate sometimes, but when you're serving your purpose, you can deal with that. When you're having that feeling like you hate, and I'm using it just for an example, when you hate what you do, and people say that shit all the time, that fucking chews them up. It never goes away. It erodes. It turns into, I can't fucking wait till Saturday, only because I don't have to do what I was doing Monday through Friday, and that will tear a person up.
Well, and you know what, Johnny and Marty, we know a lot of folks have the Sunday scaries, right? Sunday wake.
We talked about that.
Right? You get through your day, you see the evening around you, and you're thinking, oh my God, the anxiety reaches up because you're going to bed and you're hating Monday, right? And I was one of those dudes many, many years ago. I know what it feels like back when I was kind of growing up back in my early 20s there. Those Sunday scares will get at you, man. So if somebody's living with the Sunday scares, you got to get the hell out of it. Hey, Mark Schneider, I see you in the horizontal.
I've never fucking collected a paycheck, and I've never fucking hated Mondays.
Yeah. Well, and that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And I can tell you, Johnny, as I went through it, that was a motivation for me to get the hell out of the Sunday scaries. I remember that so distinctly. And I was like, I can control this by doing something about it. Right. And it was an awareness because it was eating. I mean, like, I got to change this because these Sunday scaries aren't getting any easier. Right. So, and I did something about it and I changed it. Right. So, all right, guys, let's do the accountability check and we'll come back with Mark Schneider. He's hanging tight, waiting for us in the green room. All right, Mark, I see you there on the horizontal. Jimmy, do we have him on the vertical too? I don't see him on the vertical there, Jim. All right, show me your morning habits and I'll tell you your future. Come hang out with myself, Johnny, and Marty. There you go. Not your goals, not your vision board, not your 10-year plan, your habits. What are you doing when you get up? Because if your morning starts in chaos, so is everything else. You're rushing, reacting. Listen, if you're reacting, you've already lost. You're faking focus while your brain's still in bed. Guys, I've been there. I've done it. I've performed well. I've looked successful, but inside felt misaligned the entire time. Yep. True story. Here's what I've learned. The first hour isn't just about getting ahead. And I didn't say getting ahead. That could be part of the first hour of the morning. You know, you wake up in the morning wood. You're like, hey, I wouldn't mind some head. Yeah. Well, sorry, Jimmy, I got distracted. It's about proving to yourself you're the kind of man who shows up, even if you got the morning wood. Yep. Not when it's easy, when it's dark, quiet, and unseen. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to win the first hour of your day because identity isn't built when it's convenient. No, your identity, you're building it when nobody's watching. It's built when it's cold, when it's early, and no one's clapping. That is when your identity is being built. That is when you're building that accountability. That is when you're changing your future. So ask yourself, what is the habit that's going to change your life? Not your goal, not your vision board, not your 10-year plan, the habit. John, myself, and Marty talk about it all the time. Habit's not a bad word, guys. Embrace it. Wrap your arms around the H, end it with the S, and get after it every single morning. With Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed and achieve some big, audacious, hairy goals. All right. Okay, Jimmy, I see that we're having some problems with our guest here. I think, Jimmy, we're having some problems with our guest, which is not a problem. We're going to keep the show rocking and rolling here with the boys. And I got something here that I'm going to throw on the table for the guys with a little bit of a pivot as we're waiting for Mark Schneider to get into the lab with us and see if we can get him rolling here into the lab and get him into the show here. I'm going to. I got something on the table for the boys from the gym that I think we can twist some knowledge out of Marty and Johnny here. And I'm thinking about getting into this exercises that will make you look more muscular, Jimmy. So I'm thinking that we're going to throw this topic on the stage. And I know that there's guys here singing to themselves today, hey, I want to throw a nice t-shirt on. I want to throw some nice jeans. I want to throw a jacket on. I want to head to the beach here in a couple weeks, couple months, and I want to look pretty muscular. So I'm wondering if Johnny has some exercises in his journal, and Marty's got some exercises in their journal that's going to make somebody look more muscular than they actually are. Johnny, is that a thing? Could you do that? Could somebody achieve that effect of that look of looking more muscular than they actually are by doing some proper exercises first thing in the day?
You know, I think this whole fucking topic feeds the wrong. It's throwing gasoline in a fucking fire that should be extinguished.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Tell me.
Well, if your mindset is all fucking wrapped around short-term shit, you're never going to get what you want.
Yes.
The fact that you're even thinking about this tells you that you should be facing the west. In Grasshopper, you're looking to the east.
Oh, I love this. Let's keep going here then. So somebody's waking up saying, hey, man, I got a busy weekend coming up. I need to make myself look a lot more jacked. What we're actually saying to somebody is you need to change your mindset. You can look a lot more jacked and you can get to where you want to get to, but it's not going to happen overnight. Stop thinking about this weekend.
That guy that says that to me, he says, how do I do it? How do I wake up and do some exercise, look more jacked? I said, look, here's what you do. You fucking get in your car, you drive to 7-Eleven, and you buy a fucking pack of cigarettes, a regular Coke, and a fucking lottery ticket. Because that's the mindset you're in, and that's where you're going to stay.
Yes. When a guy calls you and asks you that question or talks to you about that, how does he generally react to you?
I mean, people that want to work with me, if they say anything to the effect of, I got this vacation coming up, blah, 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 blah. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Of course I don't say that, but I say honestly, I don't serve people that don't want to make a permanent change. Now, someone says to me, hey, I want to, I need to make habits. I want to change my life. I want sustainable results, and by the way, about halfway through this journey we're talking about, I have a trip. Okay, I can work with that because the first thing on the totem pole is what's important.
Yes.
But you put the shit that's not important at the top, that person, in many cases, it's just they've somehow, some way, their mind is just they're just looking the fucking wrong direction. Again, someone has to be like at least open-minded enough to realize that there's a better way. But when they're stuck with this, I need to get this done this morning. I need to look good for the people that want to look good for the vacation. They fucking do the same dumb shit every year.
Yeah, I love when we bring this up because when you guys have these folks come across your table or come across your desk and you're like, really? You want, Marty's like, really? You want to lose 20 pounds by your wedding? Like, come on, man. Like there's a
brother, I wouldn't even fucking
loose,
answer
baby.
that
Hold
question.
on, baby.
Yeah, Marty.
I got it. It's a little off topic, but it's fitness related with my clients. Whenever they tell me, I'm not feeling motivated. What can I do to feel more motivated? I'm like, Johnny, I say, go to the mirror, lift your shirt up, and look at your stomach. That's your motivation right there. If that don't motivate you, it ain't nothing I could do. Right? If that doesn't motivate you, it's nothing I could do. But
I can't get over somebody asking for motivation. Like that's just ridiculous. That baffles my mind.
Just misinformed. That's it. But
yes.
And it's nothing wrong with being misinformed. But when you're properly informed, if you won't fucking listen, then you can't be helped.
Yes.
But to answer your original question, Keith, if someone said to me, I wouldn't even spend the fucking effort answering that question.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you this because all I'm doing is giving you fuel to put in a fucking fire that you should be trying to fucking extinguish.
Here's what I love about this, Johnny, and here's what I love about this question I threw on the table, and I like how we've pivoted it because we're emphasizing what I've said often is that somebody can find the answer they're looking for if they look for it hard enough. Right. So in other words, I found the trainer that will give me the 6 exercises to make me look jacked this weekend because that's the guy that I'm looking for, even though that's not what I actually want. Right.
Dude, it's fucking nuts. I mean, and the thing I say, you're so correct. I think people look, it's 3:00 and you're contemplating whether you're going to go to the gym. This is the line in the sand. you either start thinking about fucking reasons that you don't want to go, or you start thinking about reasons you should go. And if you start thinking about reasons you should go, your mind will find the reason and you will go. But if you don't control the direction of your thoughts, you're in trouble.
Yeah. If somebody's saying to me they're thinking about going to the gym at 3 o'clock, I'm saying, no, go to bed and get up and go the next morning. Marty?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, once you control your thoughts and control your mindset, make it a habit. Your shoes, you put your shoes on, your shoes just gonna automatically go to the gym. Like you don't have to think about it. You see, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see that 3 o'clock thing. What I'm referencing is that's kind of where people hit that crossroad, right? They might have planned to go, but that voice starts fucking with them. You have to learn to deal with that situation, because think how many times we deal with the same thing. It's just in the fucking morning.
Yes.
Well, we've trained our brains to look past that. Okay, yes, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to look at how good I'm going to feel when I'm done.
Yes.
And that's why we go, because we're seeing, the positivity, where versus if we're like, oh fuck, I got almost so busy. You start thinking of all the reasons you shouldn't. You'll find your brain will find the fucking reason, but you've got to put you have a lot more control of your outcome by controlling the direction of your thoughts than you realize. Because once you set it in motion, it's going to work for you. But what are you asking it to do?
I'm willing to bet that the hours of 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. are hours that a lot of humans struggle with. Let me elaborate. Your day is working towards an end. If you're going to work, right, you're looking towards, okay, what am I having for dinner? What's going on this evening? And that 3 to 6 hour period, like that from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., I think a lot of bad decisions can be made by somebody, right? That, they're hungry, they're going to the grocery store making bad choices. They're going, I'm not going.
And they get tired.
Yes.
When you're fucking tired, it's real fucking easy to make a bad choice.
Yes. That 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Marty?
I'll say this too. I try my best not to touch a gym at 3 to 6 p.m.
Yes.
Whether that's my workouts or whether that's me training clients and stuff. I don't do any evenings, because the mindsets of the people there is totally different.
It is, isn't it?
So many distractions, so many people talking, hogging machines on your phone. So it goes right along with what we're talking about, even with the people who are actually in the gym, quote unquote, bettering themselves.
Yes. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. And I think those hours from and then Johnny, Marty, if you're a parent, you do those hours from 3 and 6, picking the kids up from school or feeding the kids or organizing your house like that. That's like the witching hour for a lot of houses, man, from 3 till 6.
Absolutely.
Right. Get up, get your ass out of bed and get to the gym here. So, Marty, let's do the fit tip and then we'll come back. And I think we got Mark Schneider in the green room ready for us. We'll bring in Mark after the fit tip. Marty, work for you, brother?
Cool with me, brother.
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, we got the fitness tip for today. Kind of what I talked about not too long ago, but we're going to expand a little bit. All right, listen, when you're in the gym, you have to progress. Right? Sounds simple, okay, but a lot of people get in their routine where they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do 20 minutes on a Stairmaster. Amazing, love that. Doing it consistently, great job, proud of you. What are you doing in the 20 minutes? Are you just staying on there? Are you scrolling on your phone? I have a lot of trouble with some of my clients. Let's get a little bit more intensity. I'm not saying you got to kill yourself every time, but let's get better. Let's increase the cardiovascular endurance. Let's increase how many steps we're getting. Let's increase how many calories we're burning, right? This is only going to continue your progress. It's only going to help you reach your goal. If you're on the treadmill, let's say you're running a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, running outside, whatever it is, let's cut the mile time down, right? Let's get something out of the workout, right? Let's not go through the motions. Let's not be a ghost, because you're not going to improve. And let's be real. We all have goals. We all want to look a certain way. We all want to feel a certain way. So whether the goal is physical or the goal is mental, right? You're either going to look better in your clothes or you're just going to feel more accomplished, right? How much better is your meeting for your business or your job going to be if you crush the mile? opposed to slacking a mile, just going through the motions, bullshitting. All right. So let's get the most out of that cardio or whatever our routine is. Let's step it up a notch, increase it. All right. That's the fitness tip for today. Let's work.
Let's work, because see Marty fit, cardio or weights, but getting after it. So we got to do on a daily basis. Good little tip there, Marty. Good reminder. Brother, you got to rock and roll out of here, my friend.
Got to rock and roll.
You got to rock and roll. I love you, brother. You have yourself a great day today. I'm always happy to see you sitting in the chair first thing in the morning. We're going to walk you out and bring in our guest this morning, Mark Schneider. Marty, have an awesome one, brother. We'll talk to you a little along the way. Okay, pal?
Yep. See you tomorrow, man.
Right,
Appreciate you.
All right. Yep. Appreciate you too. All right, Marty's going to get out of here, guys. We're welcoming in our first guest here on the show here. We got a guy here who is joined by Mark Schneider, a creative powerhouse who went from driving billion-dollar campaigns to navigating life's wildest storms, including a 5-year battle with long COVID. Known affectionately as the shitstorm savant storyteller, Mark now empowers leaders to creatively embrace life's curveballs. Stay focused and stay tuned as we unpack resilience, creativity, and why your toughest moments might lead to your greatest triumphs. Nation, please extend a warm welcome to invite to the lab this morning our friend, Mark Schneider. What's up, Mark?
Good morning, everybody.
How are you, pal? Good to see you here this morning on the feeds here. Got you on the horizontal, got you on the vertical, and you're sounding great. Johnny, meet Mark. Mark, meet Johnny.
Good
Mark, what's
morning.
up, brother? How are you?
It's a new day. Who knows what it will bring, but I'm going to bring the best.
That's awesome. Man. That's awesome. Mark, where are you joining me, Marty? From? I mean, John from today.
I'm out in outside of Philly, Phoenixville.
Yeah, nice. The home of the Philadelphia Flyers.
The home. Well, I'm a New York fan, so
okay.
Loved in the sports circles here.
Okay. Well, I'm home of the Winnipeg Jets, as you can see here, which I'm rocking and rolling with supporting my Jets here. So, hey, Mark, you joined the show here today. We're really excited to have you on the show. Talk a little bit about sharing a defining moment when a personal crisis turned into a professional breakthrough for you. You know, we talked a little bit about when I introduced you about long COVID and so forth, and you have a project called When Shit Hits the Man Club, Memoir Lane Studio, and Creative Intel for Execs. Talk a little bit about Mark, your this idea of moving from a personal crisis into a professional breakthrough.
Well, if you look at the world today, it's changing faster than we've ever seen. It's in perpetual change. But I like to do things early. So I got long COVID before anyone else did. I'm an early adopter. So I figured the world's a shitstorm. I'm going to be the king of the shitstorms. But, it's what's really interesting is mindset is everything.
Yes.
A bad day, a good day. Often, if I got in a car crash now, I did not have a good day. But I do the best I could to say, what can I make the most of it? And the mindset is wildly powerful. There's a thing called reticular activation system.
Yep.
And there's other things which I'm not sure if viewers know it, but basically the theory is our brains, our thinking follows what our brains are thinking. So if I'm in a positive mood, I'm going to see positive messages. If I'm in a negative mood, I'm going to see negative messages. To amplify that a little more, I'm driving down the road, there's billboards. I have horrible allergies. I'm going to see the allergy billboard. If I didn't have an allergy, I would not see the billboard. So as we're looking and we see thousands of messages every day, if I'm in a positive mood, if you're in a positive mood, you're going to see the things that confirm that your brain is in a positive state. So that's one of the keys to everything. The other
Brother,
thing
can I jump in real quick right there? I love what you're saying. And the reticular activating system can be programmed. I mean, you literally can program it. You don't have to just kind of, let it. I mean, that's the problem, is that most people kind of don't understand how it works, and it basically keeps them seeing negative shit. Our brains were designed to keep us alive, is find problems. So when we're constantly finding problems, the reticular activating system says, okay, I need to find more of those. Versus when we program our minds into a state of gratitude and a state of positivity, like you're saying, then it starts looking for those things. And it's almost like when you're a kid and you're excited to get you ask Santa for a red bicycle, right? That fucking bicycle is important to you now. So you see those fucking red bikes everywhere because your brain, it's become important to your brain. So all you've got to do with the RAS is basically program your mind to what's important, just like that fucking red bike. And then, you know, that's part of what I do with my coaching. And you do this in, like, when I'm done with my clients, they don't see fucking problems. They see solutions.
Yes.
You see right past the bad into the good.
You have a choice, you know, but it takes work. One of the things that kind of feeds into that is visualization the night before.
Mm.
So I take a problem throughout the day and I say, I'm going to take that negative and turn it into a positive as soon as I wake up. And I visualize it deeply, intimately, methodically. And not surprisingly, over time, I wake up and I say, what was a problem yesterday is a solution today. What was painful yesterday is joyful today.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Love it.
you know, one of the big turnarounds, I've had 6 shitstorms. Long COVID, I'm now 5 years and 2 months. And I have a very conservative but well-trained general doctor who actually was at the last Olympics. And last year, he was 2 years ago, getting into me a long COVID clinic. But he also said to me, I want you every night to listen to this gratitude station. Now, here's a guy 5 years ago.
It's awesome.
If I said that to him, he would say to me, you could do what you want, but I don't do that. So he's converted, and he is probably in his mid to late 60s. So again, there's over and over and over of saying this corny thing called power of positive thinking is really powerful and very true. And I'd say that one of the last things is also being surrounded by the right people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
100%, brother. And real quick, I just want to say, because we're literally drinking the same Kool-Aid. I love it. And my version of what you're saying, and I always try to make fun with that when I talk about problems. I don't even like when I get kicked in the nuts, right? That's a problem, right? When I get kicked in the nuts, you know, I'm on my hands and knees with this, thank you, because I'm down here and I have a different vantage point. And I know that something good is coming from this pain in my testicles. I just don't know what it is yet. So every time I really get fucking walloped, the first thing I do is thank it. Thank you. Yeah. Immediately turns my fucking brain into looking for the silver lining. Bang, just that quick.
And those silver linings are there, but it's a methodical, you have to kind of work at this and joyfully. But yeah, setbacks are setbacks. But you also, I think, when you're really clobbered.
I'm sorry. Did you say, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you say no silver linings are there? Is that what you said?
No, I said silver linings are always there.
Yes. 100%.
But you have to find them, seek them, and know sometimes you have to calm your brain down and say, I can't run as fast. I can't work as long. I can't be in the flow like I used to. But the flip side is, when I'm rested, I could do more in less time. So it's always the ability to say, twist it, turn it, know the rules, when to break them, bend them, slice them, dice them, remove them. But I'm also lucky. You know, I've had a creative background, and creativity and resilience go hand in hand. So I can playfully and humorously take something really bad and flip it. And when I'm interviewing people, I could say, okay, you had a horrible day. You did this, that. You've had a horrible month. You lost your job. Let's humorously talk about this thing and crack some jokes and shout out your shitstorms, because shouting out stuff feels really good versus pent up. You keep it inside. So nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it's all about moving forward at times when you don't even want to move at all.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with You're hanging with Keith and John here in Mornings Live with Keith and Friends with our guest, Mark Schneider, who's an acclaimed creative executive known for his work with over 1/3 of Fortune 1000 companies and multiple startups, generating, Johnny, $1.5 billion in sales. And after experiencing significant health setbacks, including living with long COVID, Mark's reinvented himself through 3 impactful passion projects. Number 1, when shit hits the man club. Yep, Memoir Lane Studio and creative intel for execs. His mission is to help leaders harness creativity and resiliency to thrive amidst chaos and unprecedented change. Mark, when your doctor told you to turn on the gratitude station in the evenings, you now can tell your doctor you have found a morning show that leans into the similar topics around positivity, getting up, not hitting the snooze button, being grateful, chasing the bad thoughts out of your brain, and so forth. That's our entire purpose for getting up and getting after it. Mark, when you talk with executives and you go through your journey and talking with folks, what's one practical step that executives can take today to start proactively managing the chaos inside of them instead of hiding from it?
Think about what's important.
Mm.
Because in the flurry of today, every day is somewhat of a mystery.
Yes. Oh, yes.
More than ever. And you got to take the mystery out of the mystery and say there are going to be throughout the day and the week things you can't control, be it your computer, be it customer service. There's so many challenges during the day, but what you have to do is find time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in a long COVID clinic, that was the thing. They have a thing called STAR, which is start, think, act, and resolve.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the beginning to the end. And what happens is when you're jumping from A to B to C to D to E without a break, without pause, without being able to think, what happens is something happens and you're in a quandary. Like, oh my gosh, I can't record now and I have a recording in 5 minutes. I can't think straight and I'm going to be interviewed. So finding time in the day, and this, I recommend this to everyone, find time between the times where you have meetings, but you got to take the breaks. You got to have enough time in the day to say, when something happens that throws you off, you're not stuck on time and you don't have to cancel. That's a very, very big thing today. I think, especially because of all the changes that are happening.
You know, Mark, John and I talk about this often, that we need to encourage folks to take time out of their day to think. And that's essentially what you're talking about, which is taking time to think. Mark, why do you think that we as leaders haven't taught our peers and society hasn't taught us to stop to think? And I'm serious with the question. Like, why haven't we been taught or encouraged, even going through school or going through parts of our world, which is, Keith, it's time for you to sit down and think right now instead of stop doing. We're taught to do, we're taught to move forward, but moving forward is often rooted in thinking. Why do you think that is, Mark?
Fear.
I
think today, more than anything, people are running on fear. They're being hit, emails, texts, phones, nonstop. And most of us, I don't, but most people amplify it by literally going from A to B to C, email, text, phones, computer. But what happens is, number one, the brain can't take it. We only have finite amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, willpower, when we run out of energy, diminishes.
Yes.
So the perfection I seek in the morning, I can reach. The perfection I seek in the evening, I'll probably settle for less. What I'm really getting at is, if you don't design your day to prioritize what's most important, most likely those are the things that are in peril. Because fires, unfortunately, take precedent over the big picture.
Yeah.
Johnny, with leaders.
Johnny, this guy's drinking Kool-Aid, man. This guy's totally drinking.
Well, here's the thing. I think I totally agree with what you're saying, brother, but I think it goes back a little deeper than that. We're not taught about the concept of money. We're not taught all these different things in school. We're not taught to think, because if we're taught to think, we're not going to fit into the system and become workers. I make the joke all the time. blanket statement. Rich people think for a living. I shouldn't say rich. Wealthy people think for a living. Poor people fucking work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a
And
profound.
if you're not taught to think, why would you fucking do it? I mean, Jesus Christ, look at all the other things that we're not taught to do, so we don't do it.
What I find striking about your comment, Mark, is that I'm not sure if you heard our conversation in the first segment, but we were talking when I said that between the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., I think many folks struggle. And you said it best. Your willpower by 3 o'clock starts to diminish. So your willpower to go to the gym, your willpower to make a healthy meal, your willpower to make a good decision between 3 and 6 or 3 and 8, you're battling age, Mark, because all the energy you've expended throughout the day, it's gone. So by the time 3 o'clock comes, you're going, geez, why am I not making good decisions? Well, Mark, what you're saying is that, well, the science is preventing you from making the good decisions, Keith and John. That's what you're saying, isn't it, Mark?
It's how we're wired as human beings, and we have to understand how we are wired and our deficiency in the wiring. Neuroplasticity is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I could say during the last 5 years, I was forced to reprogram my brain to slow down, to think more. And my gosh, I recommend it to everyone.
Oh man, this is awesome.
Well, let me just share something of clients that I have. They're in those settings where, they kind of like you're saying, or they start off the day and it's almost like as the day goes on, it gets louder and louder and louder. And then at some point they just can't fucking comprehend it. And they start fucking shutting down the noise, So obviously when people come to me, I'm going to get them eating on a regular basis. There's going to be it's a loose schedule, but even if they're eating a handful of almonds or they're having a meal, one way or the next, they're going to be feeding themselves with some regularity, about every, call it 3.5 to 4 hours in this setting. So they couple that because it's going to take you, look, you need 60 seconds, 120 seconds to get something down real quick. And if one of my clients is in the setting like you're talking about, he's going to habit stack 60 seconds of gratitude with that quick feeding. Every time he eats, he quiets his mind. And as he moves forward, he manages that noise and he doesn't fucking get all bent out of shape. And he can continue to focus because he's managed the fucking noise as the day goes on. And those people usually don't get fucking tired at 3 p.m. because, like you said, the noise is not sucking the fucking energy out of them.
Yeah.
It's really kind of, I call it noise. It's almost like anxiety, and anxiety beats
Yes.
the Christ out of us.
Yes, that's exactly, Johnny.
That little methodology right there is a fucking game changer for so many people. And it's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
I think we're in a world now where our message is needed more than ever.
Oh, baby.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Speaking of messages, Mark, can you hang around with Johnny and I for the next 10 minutes so to wrap up the segment?
I can do it. I can do it.
Awesome. So we're gonna step off stage, Mark, you and I for a minute. John's got a lifestyle tip. We're gonna come back, and Mark, I got a question for you when we come back around neuroscience and what it taught you about human resilience. But before we get to that, let's do the fit tip with the lifestyle tip with Jon Andersen. We'll come back with Mark Schneider, myself, and keep getting after it. Let's do it, Jimmy.
All right, it is time. That's right. It is time to stop bullshitting yourself. How many times have you said, I'm going to do it tomorrow? How many times have you said, I'm going to do it later? And it didn't goddamn happen. Well, check this out. You're not just fucking up yourself. Anybody that you are leading is being led down the wrong path. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people, your kids, the people that you manage, whoever they are, the people that are watching you. They're learning by what you do. Your kids, they don't give a shit what you say. They care what you do. So you got to ask yourself a question. How many times have you lied to yourself about taking the bull by the horns and changing your life? Whether it be eating better, maybe a little bit of exercise, maybe going to bed on time. So many ways you can do it. Because here's the deal. If you want to get better, if you want more, you must become more, which means you need to focus on your self-improvement. And it's not that difficult. A few simple steps will get you moving in the right direction. But you got to start off just like any other problem. You have to identify and admit that you have it. So ask yourself the question: how many times have you told yourself you're going to start later or tomorrow or whatever the bullshit is, and it never fucking happened? Rock and roll.
There you go. Never happens. Get after it today, you guys. Don't wait for someday or don't wait for another day. I'm talking with Mark Schneider today. We're talking when shit hits the man. Myself, Jon Andersen, and our guest, Mark Schneider. Mark, you focus heavily on neuroscience in your storytelling.
Yeah.
What is the most surprising thing that neuroscience has taught you about human resilience, Mark Schneider?
Neuroscience, it's the power of my brain, your brain, whatever. Neuroscience, it's really the unconscious, subconscious view of you're making decisions. We think consciously, 9 out of 10 are subconscious, unconscious. And so you have to really know who you are, because what's going to come out is who you are, not who you think you are, if that makes any sense at all.
Yes.
Yes.
I
We
was
repeat the
fortunate-
same stupid mistake day after day.
Yes.
And if we don't fucking call ourselves out on the shit, that's our fucking life.
The really interesting part, I worked with one of the leading neuroscientists, neuroeconomists in the world. His name is Dr. Paul J. Zak. He has technology that he developed with the CIA. And so I've known him. I interviewed him years ago. He was on an advisory board.
That's interesting shit.
Yes.
And it's an amazing way to measure what you're doing. Measure how people are actually reacting. You can watch a commercial and you're monitored on a microsecond by microsecond, millisecond by millisecond, what you're immersed in and what you're not paying attention to. So there are ways, as you start delving deep into neuroscience, to say, once you understand internally what's happening, your decision making will dramatically change, because you're more in control of not just saying off the cuff. It's that thinking part, the ability to think, and then the subconscious and unconscious and the conscious work together as one, and you're making a statement that's truer to yourself, more authentic, and more meaningful.
That's fascinating.
That is so it right there. You know, I actually have an exercise that I teach my clients. And basically what it is, it's what you're talking about is subconscious. Excuse me. It's like 85, 90% of what we do. And the crazy part is the majority of that is the fucking same as yesterday. So we're on this repetitive fucking pattern. If we don't alter that pattern, well, here's the thing, because it's subconscious, we're not even fucking aware we're doing it. So we have to like rewrite or put a new program over the top of the old one, because the old one, it's like a hard drive. It's never going to get pulled out of there. You've just got to rewrite the new one over the top. And you've got to basically recognize the patterns that you're doing and the habits that you've developed because of of your thoughts. You've got to get a hold of those thoughts, twist them a little bit so that you can actually start to change how you think, which changes the way you live, which changes your fucking life. And it all starts with the subconscious.
Yeah.
Mark, you said something when we introduced you a number of minutes ago, that resilience and creativity are linked. Now, you've integrated your creative business expertise with personal resilience. You've shared your struggles, your battles with long COVID and so forth. I'm a creative fellow. Jon is a creative fellow, but we're also very resilient fellows as well. I'm curious, why is creativity so crucial in overcoming life's biggest challenges? And I guess the second part of that is, for somebody who is not perhaps as creative as maybe like yourself, Mark, or myself, or Johnny, are they going to have a harder time overcoming a life challenge because of a lack of creativity, Mark?
Two great questions. Let me start with the...
What I paid to do, Mark Schneider. Yeah, that's the good questions, man.
The ability, Jon, as you were saying, we're stuck. You do the same thing over and over and over again. Often that's out of fear of trying something new. And so to get out of that box, you have to try something new.
Yes.
Yes.
In today's world, you have to embrace new technology. So the way I speak to anyone who is what they would call not creative, number one, most people are more creative than they think. Throughout life, you're solving problems. Many you don't even understand. But you have to go on the ledge and say, I'm willing to do things that I hadn't done before because the world's changing. And if I don't change with the world, I'm going to be left way behind. And I do a lot of brainstorming with clients where it's what's one of the most interesting things that happened to me about 10 years ago. I was working with a client in Texas where I used to live. Mm-hmm. Never met the guy, but we had these long conversations. And one day I had interviewed him and then I presented an idea and he said, "You're a genius." I said, "I appreciate that, but tell me why you say that." And so he mentioned a solution that I gave him. And I said, "Guess what? That was your idea, not mine." He goes, "What?" And I said, "I interviewed you. And what happened is you threw a lot of gems out there that you're not even aware of. But in conversation, they come out naturally." And without getting to the details, it was his idea that led to the execution that he loved, but he didn't know it was his idea. He thought it was mine. So listening is a very big thing. When you converse, we're looser. And things come out naturally. It's just a matter of, I've told stories for years and I know how to listen because I've directed and produced and written. So the ability to say, let's just converse for a half hour, an hour, stuff just comes out and they start to realize, I do have ideas. I just don't trust them. And trusting then comes to you test. Even if it's just conversations with a friend, you test things out. You try things out. You gain more confidence. And I tell them, you're not going to hit on everything. I have a service called Genius or Nuts Brainstorming. And Genius or Nuts is really going for the home run or the strikeout. And in today's world, to stand out, you have to often go for the home run.
Got to swing for the fence, baby.
So I tend to ramble because I get passionate. So if I took off topic,
fucking A, brother.
We're leaning in and listening because you're dropping nonstop nuggets this morning, Schneider. I'm telling you, man. I'm leaning into everything you're saying because I'm just sopping it all up, man.
Well, real quick, let me just
before
we drift too far away, I love what you're saying, brother. And I have something similar. I just come from a different side of the equation when you're talking about, the beginning of what you're saying. So my clients, I'm going to explain to them, look, you have to get, uncomfortable to get into a new space, which is going to help you, get what you want. But you got to understand, your brain is programmed to seek the familiar, and the familiar is what happened fucking yesterday and the day before and the day before. And that's the fucking shit that's not allowing you to go where you want to go. So you have to understand that you're programmed to go where you've been before. What you really need to do is reprogram to constantly be looking to go where you've never gone before. And that's where I hang my hat, man. If I'm not uncomfortable, I'm actually fucking very uncomfortable. Great. Mm-hmm. I have to be uncomfortable. If I don't feel like something's scaring me, I get a little fucked up, man. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing, dude? I have to retrain my brain. The familiar is uncomfortable.
You know what I'm loving about this conversation, Jon and Mark, is that as I'm building this business here, and Johnny and Keith are building out this show, and Mark, we got a big vision for this thing. We've got it to here. We've been at it for a year or so. We've got it to here. We keep getting it to a new level every couple of months, it seems like. And now, as I've been looking, at the business and looking at the future, I've been saying to myself, okay, it's time to take the next step. It's time to swing for a home run. Right. And it's this, and it is creativity that's going to help us overcome the next challenge. It is creativity that's going to help overcome the resilience of getting to the next level and growing this thing. So I find it quite fascinating in hearing you talk about this, Mark, because what we've been doing has gotten us here So it's okay. So how do we, Johnny and I talk about all the time. What do we have to do to put the extra 2.5 pounds on the bench press so I can now bench 250 instead of just 245, right? It's just these little tweaks, and it's about walking towards the uncomfortability. I know it's a repeated term, but that's really what it is, isn't it, Mark? At the end of the day,
Everyone has to being uncomfortable is the comfort zone of 2025 and beyond.
Yeah.
If you want to change, fuck yes. If you want to stay the same, keep running the familiar shit you did yesterday.
And you know what's interesting too, boys, is that as I'm hearing you guys talk, and I've been spending a lot of time listening here, is that we've been programmed to get into our social echo chambers. Mark, I'm looking at you here, right? We'll jump into X, or we'll jump into Threads, or we'll jump into our platform. And what they become is the echo chamber, right? Yes. And then Monday becomes the same thing as Tuesday. Tuesday becomes the same thing I'm hearing from Mark on Friday. And next thing you know, a year has gone by, or a period of time has gone by, and I've been fed these echoes from the same chamber over and over. And what's happened, Mark and John, is I've been given no reason to get outside of the echo chamber because it keeps perpetuating what I'm believing. And what I'm finding fascinating is that once you get sucked into these ecosystems, those echo chambers, it's really hard to get out. Like if you're living in the X universe for a long time, it's hard to step outside of it if somebody keeps perpetuating what you're saying. And it's hard to get outside and make a change if the same people are commenting and endorsing and supporting everything you're saying. You follow me, Mark?
Who the fuck are we listening to, man?
Yeah, Mark.
The ability, I would say to anyone, micro victories are very, very, very big victories.
Oh, baby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that trigger a little step, a baby step, a giant step, a leap, a jump, a fly. So the ability to say, spend a little time every day doing one little thing. Like if you normally go home one route, go a different route. You'll see different things. You'll experience different things. You may come home feeling different. So it's endless what you can do, but you start off with a baby step.
So simple, but so much truth to that. Hey, we're hanging out with Mark Schneider. Good morning, Lauren. I see you there in the comments, baby. Good job on the run this morning. Hey, Mark, got some rapid fire questions for you from me and Johnny here. Weirdest hobby picked up during your health battles?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Weirdest hobby you picked up during your health battles? Or maybe hobby aside, weirdest activity you picked up during your health battles?
The joy of the journey.
Oh, yeah. You took time to enjoy it.
If you don't enjoy, I used to always go, one part of my downfall, I got sick because I worked so hard. And that, one thing, never take care of myself. Self-care was, I didn't know it. I still don't know it. I'm getting better. But I realized one day I wrote an excerpt in a book called COVID Silver Linings, and realized without me knowing it, I got out of what I loved and became more of a businessman than a creative guy. Didn't realize it, and realized I kept going for the golden ring, but the golden ring wasn't appearing. And my big turnaround was saying, what do I love? I love to create. I love storytelling. I love to solve problems. I like to be around people who embrace all of those. And yet I was working with people that didn't embrace any of those.
Oh, dude.
It was all about money, 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 money. I've had the good fortune of working with some very, very powerful people, but we don't think alike, because I believe in, I'll tell you an incredible quote with two people that were very wealthy. And they both said to me 10 years apart, you'll never get as rich as I, because you believe in right or wrong, and I believe in legal or not.
That's brother, that's a different definition of success is what that is. Like, when it comes down to it, a person has to define their success. My definition of success is very fucking different than most people. Yeah. That's why I live the life that I live. But, like you said, I think you said the golden ring, the brass ring. Most people, that brass ring is fucking zeros in a bank account. And then they work their whole fucking lives to get there. And they're like, well, fuck, I thought this was going to be better than that. It's because that was the only part of the definition that they really paid attention to. Free time, quality of life, relationships, do you fucking the process of getting to that gold ring? Do you like that process? Will you do that process if you're not getting fucking paid? Most people have never experienced that, and they end up really fucking unhappy, no matter how successful they are financially. It fucking sucks. But this is another thing that we're not fucking taught when we're young.
Mark, can you repeat that quote again? I'm fascinated by it. What did those wealthy folks say to you?
2 times.
Yeah.
One is a billionaire. One was very close. You'll never be as rich as I, because you believe in right or wrong. I believe in legal or not. And I can tell you, throughout my career, I did serious headbanging along the way. Fighting for what I believe is right. Fighting what I believe is for the people that work with me, for me. Fighting for them. I've had incredible battles for ethics.
That is such a profound statement that I can't walk away from, because it very much articulates, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time beating up, government administrations, but it has nothing to do with right or wrong, does it, Mark? At all, actually. And believe me, I'm all about ethics. I know Johnny's all about ethics, and clearly you are as well. But much of society really has nothing to do with that at all. It's about whether it's legally correct or legally something I can get away from. It's fascinating.
Well, John, to your point, piggybacking on the thing that we're different than others. Not everyone is the same in their values. So that statement by those 2 gentlemen was their world. They believed it, lived it. And I come up from a lower middle class background, and ethics were a very, very big part of growing up.
Yes.
Never forgot it, never will. But interestingly, I also hurt myself. And many have said to me, you must sleep better at night. I said, actually, I don't, because I lost a lot of money. Not getting paid as well from very big companies. So there's a real fine line, especially in a world today where we're seeing a lot of antagonistic behavior on many parts. You kind of have to watch what you say and where you bite your tongue. And that's a lesson I am very sincere about, because you have to not only watch out for the world of ethics, or believe in your ethics, but if you have to earn money, you have to be smart about what you say, who to say it to, and when to say, I'm just going to bite my lip and not let it get to me. And that's also a big part of resiliency. So if you're resilient, you could let some of the negativity kind of go over, pass you by, and you walk through it. But if you really hold on to it, it's going to clobber you in ways that you won't be resilient, because that force of negativity will knock you over.
I love you.
I gotta tell you right there. That's one of the things I fucking figured out pretty fucking early. It's like, if I hold on to all this fucking shit, it distracts me from my passion. It distracts me from what makes me happy. I mean, you can't, I'm not saying nobody can fucking get a rise out of me. We could be walking down the street. Somebody could come up to me and say, you're a fucking cocksucker. And I'd look at him and say, you might be right, because it's over. I won't accept it. I say what I need to say to release it. Done. Like, I was younger. I bet I can kick your ass. I bet you can.
Yeah.
See you later. Have a fucking great day. Thanks for stopping by.
Mark, I love your pace, man. I love your pace. I love everything you're dropping out of your mouth here today, dude. You're dropping nugget after nugget.
Thank you.
Mark Schneider, if your life was literally a movie, who would play you?
Wow. You.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. I was hoping for that answer. Hey, what's one creative project you'd love to tackle but you haven't yet? And it's just on the list over there and you're going to get after. What is that project, Mark Schneider?
Movie.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And then here's one from Keith and Johnny. What's the go-to comfort food when shit hits the fan?
Well, I can't. That's a great one because I'm a sweetaholic. I can't eat sweets anymore. I would say anti-inflammatory. It's turning lemons into anti-inflammatory lemonade.
There you go.
Well, here's a new spin on that, brother. What's your comfort food? You say, I don't have one. I eat for purpose, not for pleasure.
Love it.
Well, there you go. I love that too. I love that too. Hey, Mark, as I close up our segment with you, if you had to write a survival guide, which was titled How to Thrive When Shit Hits the Fan, what's chapter 1?
Chapter 1 is the new you. The ability to look at life, embrace life in a world that's changing faster than it's ever changed.
Oh, isn't that the truth, man?
It's kind of scary. I love change,
buddy.
but my gosh, I don't like every 15-minute change. I have a lot of, I don't know if you, but even things like my computer, I have to think harder because you push the wrong button today and that button will take you down.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Jon, and Mark Schneider. When Shit Hits the Man Club, Memoir Lane Studio, and Creative Intel for Execs. Mark's mission is to help leaders harness creativity and resiliency to thrive amidst chaos and unprecedented change. We've been very fortunate to have Mark hang out with us here for the last half hour on the show here. Mark, thoroughly enjoyed the conversation with you, brother.
I did too.
Where can and I love that you said something here and during the show that as an active listener, when you're interviewing folks, just the magic that comes out of a conversation, the magic that happens when somebody's comfortable speaking. And you said something too that really struck me, is that when somebody's really comfortable, they start saying things they didn't expect they were going to say. Yeah. Right. And next thing you know, their ideas are coming out of their mouth that they didn't realize they were coming out. And I love that you said that, because I think that's the magic that Keith and Johnny bring to the show when we start talking to guests like yourself. And this flow just starts to happen where, conversation is created that maybe we weren't expecting to have. I thoroughly enjoyed it today, brother, with you. I really have.
On that level, just the way that's fucking working, when someone's all is all uptight.
Yeah.
Their brains release the stress hormones.
Yeah.
So they're not, their mind is not in the same spot. They fucking chill out, they relax, they settle in.
Yes.
Now here comes a different set of fucking chemicals, which is going to prompt a different set of thoughts, which is going to prompt a different fucking conversation.
Yeah. And Johnny, we felt it here today. Like, I loved Mark's pace. It was brilliant, man. We just got into it. Good pace, good questions, very thoughtful. Mark Schneider, how can our audience, how can Mornings in the Lab Nation connect with you, find you, work with you, collaborate with you? I'm looking forward to grabbing a coffee with you later today.
Oh, yeah.
How can folks connect with you, Mark?
So I have a website up. That's not my website. The new one's coming. So I'll leave you with this. I wound up becoming part of a national bestseller, international bestseller.
Nice.
Triumphs of Transformation.
Nice.
I launched my brand in November, but honestly, it took so much out of me because I was sick.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other story, but it's called PEM. It's post-exertional malaise, which 70-something% of long COVID haulers have it. But it took so much out of me, I couldn't take my brand to the next level. So in 14 days, in 7 days, the new site will be up. It's whenshithitstheman.com. If you go there right now, it's below but I'm rebranding everything, and it's just taking me time. And that's part of the thing is I want to launch this correctly, not quickly.
Awesome.
Doing it right is everything. You guys really, it was a blast. You made my day. I learned a lot. I'm going to absorb a lot, and we should keep talking because this is conversational. Spontaneity is the joy of the world today, and just have fun, enjoy the journey, and realize all the good things that are happening during the day.
Yes. Well, and what we try to do, Mark, is give our audience the reason to start the day with positive conversation, insightful conversation that might make somebody think, be a little provocative, and hopefully help them change some of the habits that they're in so that they can start making some better habit chases. right? And that's really what our purpose here is on the show here. So, Mark, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna have you back. Once a guest, now a brother. Mark Schneider, you enjoy your day, and we'll look forward to connecting you a little bit later. Okay, pal?
I look forward to it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to enjoy your journey today, whatever the heck it is.
Yes, we absolutely will. All right, we're gonna walk Mark out.
You, brother.
We're gonna give Johnny a quick little break, and then Johnny, we got a guest coming back in for the back half here of the show. Here we have Mark. We got Michael Robert Kessler hanging tight in the green room. So, Johnny, want to take a quick break? We'll bring you back.
Yeah, give me a piss.
You got you, brother. All right, Johnny's gonna head over for a quick second here, and Jimmy, we're gonna bring in our next guest loaded today. Jimmy, Mark Schneider dropping nuggets, man. Holy smokeronies! I had to do a lot of listening because I was listening. All right, coming up next, the next segment, Michael Robert Kessler, the wildly creative co-owner of Bad Monkey Pictures, known for making award-winning indie films that linger in your mind long after the credits roll. Yes, he's based out of Tampa. Yep, Tampa, Florida. Michael defies the idea that filmmakers need Hollywood to succeed. He's here to talk about the transformation power of movies, debunk myths about starving artists, and maybe even spill some secrets about his beautifully weird filmmaking philosophy. Jimmy, let's take some time to invite and welcome in our next guest to the show here, Michael Robert Kessler. What's going on, Michael? How are you, pal? I got you muted here. I need to hear your voice here. I can't hear you on the. You're muted on both. We want to get you muted on, and we want to get you off muted on both your streams there, so our lovely audience can hear the wonderful voice of Michael Robert Kessler.
There we go. How's that?
There you go, brother. How are you, pal?
Beautiful, man. I'm good. I tried the earphones, but they're echoing, and it said to put the earphones on and they wouldn't echo, but now I have them out and it's not echoing. So am I good?
I think we're good, unless producer Jimmy tells me that you're not good. But I think we're gonna be in a good state right now. So
is it good, Jimmy?
He'll let me know.
Let us know. Okay.
He'll absolutely let us know. So yeah, he says you're all good. You're all good. So let's get into Tampa. Why Tampa? Tampa's unexpectedly becoming an indie horror heaven. Who knew Tampa could rival Hollywood for beautifully bizarre horror films? And have you always been in Tampa, or what takes you to Tampa, Mike?
No, I was in LA, and I moved here to not do this anymore.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was possible. I thought I was going to come here and open a mortgage office.
Yes.
When I came here, I discovered there was film here, and my wife talked me back into opening a production company. She forced me to do this, and so.
Brother, real quick, I just got to say, you fucking look like you belong in the movie business.
Yes.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I swear to God, when you just in the movie, that just, I sat, because I could hear, right, before I could see you. And then I sit down, like, this fucking dude looks like you belong in the movie business, brother.
So the voice says no, but the face says yes. That's cool.
Hey, Michael, so what inspired your fascination with the beautifully weird side of filmmaking?
My brain is a little bit demented to begin with, and I just have a fascination of the odd. And I find that in life in general, not everything is just, roses. And there's just, if you really pay attention, everything is fucking odd. Everything's weird. Everything, there's a darkness to everything. And I find beauty through that. And I don't know. My wife is obsessed with Lifetime. We watch them for a couple of months, and those things, when you can figure things out early, it makes me depressed, and life isn't like that. Yeah. And it tends to be a little weird, and I find ways to be able to bring that into what we're doing and make it pretty. And I don't know. I just have a fascination with it. I didn't try to do that. I don't really have a choice. That's just the way that I think, I guess.
That's so. I got to tell you, man. As I was doing a little bit of research, weird is in many of your materials. You have decided to own the word weird, Michael Robert Kessler. What's the weirdest project idea you've ever pitched?
We just finished a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Called The Well Spouse, and it's about an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Woman taking care of man. Women decides to taxidermy her husband, and that's our latest project. And so it's an exaggeration of an abusive relationship, And what people do instead of leaving, they try to fix their partner. So she physically fixes him and turns him into a stuffed figure that she takes care of.
Dude.
Yeah, man. It's I love it. We had someone come to us, and she really wanted to create something, and she's always been doing more vanilla stuff. And I saw something inside of her, and she said, well, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Have you ever thought about killing your husband?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Perfect. I have the perfect idea." I wrote it out, and now we're turning it into a feature. But we do a lot of proof of concepts for people locally, internationally, and then we take those things and turn them into features. It's definitely come back around. In the 90s, this was very prevalent.
Yes.
And we had this weird area where everything had to have a superhero in it, and it had to be $100 million. But those things were failing, and original IPs and deranged things. I mean, look, Everything Everywhere at Once won an Oscar. That was there was a scene where a dude put a butt plug up his ass. I mean, there's Parasite won. All of these films are starting to be brought to the foreground, and we're able to create things that are different again, and they're succeeding. But all of the films last year that were under $10 million were the ones that were succeeding, and all the things over that lost money. And so I think we're in a unique place right now to be able to create original IPs and things that are different, and people are listening. And especially with AI moving forward, everything's starting to look the same. You're not supposed to use AI to write, to use things, but a couple of films that were up for Oscars last year got discovered that AI was used in it. So the more that comes prevalent, and not even in film, and if you look at your emails, everything's written in AI now. So I think the human voice is going to, I don't even think I know, you can get recognized now for just being a human versus being a machine. And it's going to just push original IP further and further down the line. People are scared of AI. I'm thankful for it because everything looks the same and it's bullshit. And so now this original things, this weird shit that we create is able to push forward and through that stuff and be seen. It's very easy to get seen when everything's the same, It's like the ugly duckling syndrome.
It's funny how we've all wanted more typos in our emails than ever before. Hey, Michael, because we want typos. I want to see Johnny's typos. And it's funny because John and I were talking a couple days ago about writing emails and writing texts. And he's like, Keith, I always use ... after my things because that's how I write. And I'm actually ironically, so do I. But I'm embracing imperfection in my writing because everything is so quote unquote perfect now.
Yep. And that's, if you're too polished, even if it's coming from you, people are like, oh, that's AI. And so it's better just, human error is a beautiful thing because nothing is perfect. The universe isn't made on perfection, but yet imperfections. And so just be yourself. And I constantly post about that, and I attract people to myself. Look, we might not attract every single person in a blanket term, but we're going to attract the people that want to stand out. And I think it's very important right now.
Well, and that's why me and John embrace this live show, because everybody's doing recorded podcasts and they make sure they're edited, they make sure they're great, they AI them, and we just do a live show and we keep the bloopers in and keep all the mistakes because it's real life happening in front of your eyes. You follow me?
I do. I like that so much better because just nobody's perfect and everyone's trying to be. And on social media, I post about it constantly and trying to draw out the right people. If people are just trying to be perfect, on LinkedIn especially, that's where we connected. And everybody on LinkedIn is about kissing each other's ass, trying to be perfect and being like, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. And nobody is their actual selves. And it's just disgusting. I can't stand that type of behavior because where's the authenticity, Well,
we're having success on LinkedIn because we are very different. Like Keith and Johnny on the platform are extremely different than everybody else on the platform. The content we're making is very different than what's on the platform, right? So, Michael, what's your, so John's made films. Johnny, was the film you were in, did it make money? Johnny, do you know?
That's a good question. I know that the only thing I know that they were both in the theaters.
Yeah. So Michael, what's your secret sauce for turning short films into revenue generating projects? Because we know the film industry is high risk and not everything makes money. Can you share a secret sauce with us that takes those short films you're working on and turn them into making some cash?
Yeah, so there's different ways to look at it. There is that whole stigma of short films can't make money, but short films can start as an IP, what we just talked about for proof of concepts. You can, it's about building an audience early on. So everybody, when they're making films, are worried about the marketing when the film is about to be released or a month before. But you should be looking at that when you're writing the film, right? When it says fade out, you should be aware and start marketing. You should be shooting every single thing that we shoot has behind the scenes video content created to be able to create more for social media. And so early on, when we're creating the shorts, we're building that audience through TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and finding our people. And then once you're going into the spot to either you want to go into a festival or you want to stream it, you're creating more of that because you're able to use analytics. Like for our production company, we have millions of views just through our socials through that. And we're able to use those analytics, whatever the film might be, through hashtags or just the film itself, and be able to share those things to get into festivals. And then once you're doing that and creating more noise to be able to get reviews on your films, and then through that, running another campaign through that to be able to bring attention on your film. And then when you're looking for the financing for your film, you already have an audience. They can see that with your analytics. You can get the money for your film. And then once you create that film, your audience keeps creeping through all the way to the end of the distribution. You can use those analytics and be able to use your audience, your email list, or whatever it might be, to be able to prove to distributors, to be able to get those MGs, to be able to get your film distributed. And then you keep that audience going. And then so once the film finally gets released, you have millions of people waiting to see a film that hasn't been released. And so everyone's so scared of marketing and sales. I come from sales. That's what I did most of my life. But there's a creativity to sales. There's a creativity to marketing that you can use to be able to push that thing forward. And everyone looks at it as just like, oh, just post a picture, just do this. But we're trying to find what that hook is for the film early on to build that audience. And so when it does come time to finance or to distribute the film, you have a built-in fan base, a built-in audience waiting that you can use for analytics to get it financed, that you can use for people to actually see, that if you're going to run a Meta ads or Google ads, whatever you're going to be able to do, to be able to push that forward based on that criteria that you already built for yourself and that you're aware of. For one. And then the two, streaming, monetizing on YouTube or on social media. And we get hired to create short films as proof of concepts to get financing. And so we're making it on the front end and we're making it on the back end. We built a business literally out of creating shorts and proof of concepts, building audiences to be able to push that towards the feature and then do the same thing then. So you're monetizing on your social medias and your YouTube. You're monetizing by self-distributing your film through Film Hub or Indie Rights or something like that. And then at that point, now you're getting financing for a film and you're able to monetize that as well. So you should be monetizing the film from the beginning, building your audience from the beginning, and pushing it all the way through to the end, and find a way to make a front end and on the back end. And that's what we figured out how to do.
It's almost like the film is the least important part of the journey.
It is, because like if you look at I'm gonna butcher her name right now, Dosha.
Hey, real quick,
Dosha,
forgive
Dosha.
me, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I gotta jump right at 6.
You rock and roll, Johnny? Yeah, you got to rock and roll.
I gotta jump.
Yeah.
Brother,
So let's do
it's a
this.
pleasure to meet you. I loved hearing you talk, and
Thanks, man.
it seems real clear to me why you're back in the movie industry. Shit, you're clearly good at it, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna find you on social, dude. Let's connect for sure, man.
Absolutely, brother, for sure. Let's do it.
100%. Johnny, get after, brother. We'll catch up in less than 24. Okay, pal?
You got it. Have a good loop, everyone.
All right, Jimmy, let's get Johnny out of here. We'll keep the chat going on with Michael Robert Kessler joining me from Tampa, Bad Monkey Pictures. As I was saying to Michael, it's clear that in the filmmaking industry that, like the film is I don't want to say the least important part, but it's the end. It's the baked good, isn't it? It's not the ingredients. It's not the way you make it. It's the end cookie that's made. That seems to be the least important part of the whole journey when you're making a film.
It is, because you're done. And so the journey, like you're saying, is to making the film, to building the audience, to getting there. And people want, going back to the AI, it's like people want to see those imperfections. So they don't want your, even on LinkedIn, on TikTok, wherever you're at, they don't want to see the polished version of you. They want to see the mistakes. They want to be able to connect with you and understand that you're just like them, that they can do it too. And so when you start posting, like I just said with Doshi, she started 2 years ago posting her journey as a journal on TikTok, showing herself and being vulnerable. And when you make mistakes, you show them and you talk about them. And people want to see that. They want to be a part of it. They want to be that. That's why there's filmmakers like Eli Roth and Robert Rodriguez going and crowdfunding now and getting people involved from the beginning and giving them a piece of it, because they want to see the journey all the way through, because all of those materials, those thousands of little pieces of materials, are the stuff that's going to market, or the stuff that people get interested in. The people, they have the anticipation and the excitement leading up to the actual final product. And then when you see the final product, it's done. And so all of that, you know, it matches with life, like the journey of life, the journey of the film and all that stuff. People want to see all of that stuff. And it's so important to do.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, what do you think is the biggest misconception about filmmaking that you yourself love proving wrong?
That you can't make money on shorts, that you have to be a starving artist, that you have to live in some dumpster or in an apartment with 6 other people to be able to make it, because people think that when you're good is when you can start making money, but you can find ways to do that in the beginning. I'm an asshole, and I started the first 10 years of my acting career. I wouldn't show anybody. I didn't audition. My dad didn't see me in a film until I think 15 years later. And because I was so nervous to get it right and to be perfect. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have done that stuff in the beginning, because there's a way to monetize your career in the very beginning of it. There's ways to get jobs and to create your own content. I would have been creating my own films and pieces way earlier on, and I would have made a lot more mistakes and been better off where I'm at now, and be willing to do that earlier, because you can make money. You don't have to starve. You don't have to wait tables. You don't have to live under your dining room table. And I think it's sad. We live in a society where schools are closing art programs, and there's schools without theater, there's schools without art, and it doesn't seem important, but it is, especially if we're being honest and telling the truth through it and being able to show. That's how people connect, and I think that we need more of that. I wish people would take more chances early on and be willing to suck, because we get into these things because of taste, and it takes a minute for your talent to reach that taste, but there's a journey that's involved from the beginning that you can monetize and make money doing on the way, and people really want to see that. And I would have done that differently if I had to do it again.
Yeah, hey, I'm hanging out with Michael Robert Kessler, the wildly creative co-owner of Bad Monkey Pictures, all the way from Tampa. Bad Monkey's known for making award-winning indie films that linger in your mind long after the credits roll. Michael, I'm kind of got a curious question for you. This whole idea of raising money. What's the weirdest reaction you've ever had from an audience or an investor as you've been going through your journey?
I deal with a lot of psychological issues in a lot of my films. And I had a film early on that I was able to sit in the audience and watch the audience debate over what the film is about, and get in yelling matches and kick certain people out of the room because they thought that I was making fun of mental health. And so there was a right side of the room and a left side of the room in conversation, and one that was trying to defeat me. But instead of me interjecting myself, I allowed the audience to answer the questions and then have conversations with themselves. And I was able to sit and watch it unfold in front of my face and become a fight. And I thought it was just so beautiful.
That's fascinating, brother. Let's do some rapid fires here with you before we work towards wrapping up our segment. Now, I'm going to be frank with you. I can sit and talk with you for hours, but I don't have hours, so I'm going to have you back for another, because I'm loving this, and I'm a creative film geek. I'm a creative geek, and I got so many fucking questions for you right now that and I'm a fan of the moment, but then behind the moment, and then get deeper. Like, I love that. Like, even just you sitting in the audience, they're going, because I'm curious, going, okay, so, what was like sitting down? Where did you decide to sit? What were you paying attention? Like, I love being curious. But let's do some rapid fire stuff. Favorite movie nobody's heard of?
Oh man,
gotcha, brother.
Yeah, because it's the favorite movie thing. I hate this question because it's different every single day.
I'm Jaws. I love Jaws, man. Jaws changed my life. The original OG Jaws, Michael Robert Kessler.
Well, a film that changed my life was, I guess, that made me know that I wanted to do this, was watching Marlon Brando and what's the? I'm gonna have to look it up on my phone in a second. Not On the Waterfront, but the one that he did before that. and it was Stella. What the fuck is that?
I know the film, but I can't recall the name of it.
But watching him act in that film in general,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, because he's so fucking amazing and so good, I was able to watch it and to be able to understand what he was doing. And when I saw that, I wanted to do it. And I actually I joined an acting class and I tried to recreate a scene from the waterfront.
We got Mike McQuillan joining us here. Mike, thanks, brother. Streetcar is the movie you're referring to.
There you go. Thank you so much. Streetcar Named Desire. And
there you go.
That movie, I knew that I was going to back then act. I don't act anymore, but that was just so fascinating.
I love you guys are paying attention. Philip Carter, a streetcar. Lauren, a streetcar. Rick Clody, a streetcar. That's awesome, man. Good time. Have a great day, brother. Hey, dude, people are listening to us talk, which I fucking love, which is really always a lot of fun. Yeah. Hey, this might be the most important question you're asked all day, Kessler. Like I'm telling you, that might be the most important one. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
All right. Best film snack.
Best film snack. I personally don't eat when I watch movies.
Okay.
I drink water, period, and that's it. I don't like the noise. It drives me nuts. I'll be sitting next to my wife, and she has a bag of pretzels, and she's pulling them out, and I can hear the fucking wrapper, and I make her go pour it into a bowl. And munching. I just want to pay attention to the film. I don't eat. 0 times do I eat when I watch a film.
Oh man, worst piece of filmmaking advice you have ever received?
Making the feature is the most important thing, and if you want to make features, only focus on making features.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound good advice at all, actually. And then my last closing question for you, here's a big one. If your life story was made into a beautifully weird indie film, what would the title of that film be?
Figured it out. No. Shit. Okay, I wish you would have sent me these questions to begin with. Okay. I got it.
Love live. We love live. We love being authentic. We like figuring shit out on the fly. So the fact you don't have an answer to this, I love it. Because
I got it. Pull your head out of your ass and fucking do it. That's good. That's a good one.
That fits the series. That fits the theme of our show. Pull your head out of your ass and get after.
Or just pull your head out of your ass is great. Just leave it alone. Don't even need nothing afterwards. Just pull your head out of your ass. I like that.
Oh, it's funny. And our regular guest Rick Clody comes in with saying, Michael, what city was Streetcar Named Desire based in? His hometown. Which hometown's that? I think Rick's out in Tennessee. Actually, I think is Rick. I don't know if your hometown's Tennessee, but I know you live there now. So, hey, Michael, where can folks connect with you? How can folks find you? I know you and I met on LinkedIn, but where can folks connect with you, find your work, and engage with yourself?
Michael Robert Kessler on any social media.
Yeah,
there's not another one. And Bad Monkey Pictures on any social media, including YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We're on. Mostly, probably, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, mostly just having conversations with people, but you can find our work on any social media platform anywhere.
Awesome. And just kind of a last off the cuff question for me. How much are you disliking big Hollywood productions in 2025?
I wouldn't say I dislike all of them, but I would say that I'm disliking that they're running an algorithm with AI to figure out how they could match with every single fucking audience member on the planet, and the more people they can match their film up, that's the film they're going to make. And so they're trying to make something for everyone, and that just kills me because we're not for everyone. Films aren't for everyone. People like, I'm going to say Streetcar Named Desire, somebody else is going to say Ted, and everyone has different tastes. And if you try to make something for everyone, that's why things are flopping. And that's the thing that I hate the most.
I can only imagine, like I said, I'd like to say this for further conversation with you, but I can only imagine how corporate big movies are. Like they must be decision after decision and analysis after analysis and saying, okay, you can't shoot this because that person's not the right skin color or not the right sex, or they're not saying the right thing and they got to eat this. And
you have to check all the boxes to be able to
right. And would you say they're almost becoming too vanilla in that way, Michael?
For sure. Yeah. It's becoming unraw and filtered, and when something comes through the noise, it's the thing that wins, and people are so scared of it. Look what The Substance did last year. Besides the Oscars, because they don't love horror, how it cleaned up all the way, how Demi Moore was the expected win at the end, and it was a fucking bizarre film. Yes, it was a mashup of different awards and things like that, but that movie was sick. It was awesome, and it created conversations. Oh, I hate the ending. Oh, it was too long. I love this, and people were having conversations. And their TikTok marketing campaign was brilliant about comparing younger people to older, like Madonna to Sabrina Carpenter and things like that. Like, it was brilliant. It was such a creative film. I was in the theater laughing when people were walking out, and I thought that's how it should be done. Fuck it. If somebody doesn't like something, fuck them. Like, it used to be like you're supposed to make it for yourself, and that's what we're all told as we're growing up, creating things.
Yes.
And then it flips to like, well, sure, but how many people, and is there a market for this? Like, if we just stuck to that thing and kept putting things out, things would be original. They'd find their home. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and you only need a small percentage of them to sell tickets.
Well, and that's why I bring this example all the time, Michael. That's why I'm a fan of the business side of Taylor Swift. She's a perfect product marketing business case. She's like, this is what I make. This is who it's for. This is the box. If you don't like it, I don't care, because I got a bunch of people that like my box, and this is the box that I'm going to be inside of. And this is, yes, I know. I caught the innuendo in that statement as well. Jimmy, there's a good cut for us right there.
That was good, dude. That was good. I like that.
My box, you can go be in somebody, because Travis Kelce likes to be in my box, but people, and she makes content for that box, and that's it. And you as an audience, like, yeah, but I don't like that stuff. And she's like, well, I don't care. This is what's in my box. And I admire that. And I think that's a great creative artist, which is like, they know what they are. They knew who they are. And here's the other person who I'm struggling with, Michael, and his name's actually hanging behind me here. So the guy became a grandpa a couple of weeks ago, and I'm struggling with listening to Marshall Mathers' content and Eminem's content as a creative person, because the stuff that I grew up with and you grew up with, now him being a grandpa, I'm like, I would connect the dots. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like struggling to get outside the box now in that world.
But he's still selling, and it's still making things.
Yeah.
People just said, fuck it, dude, and just made what they were obsessed with. Because that voice, dude, it comes through when you're obsessed with something. People can see it on the screen. They can hear it in the music. And then when things become cookie cutter, like, everybody can tell. There's still a market for it, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, because Marvel's selling tickets, but they're starting to lose money. $100 million films are not recouping their money, because you got to make 4 or 5 times that to be able to recoup your money, and they're not making $500 million anymore. And so just fuck it and just make something you're obsessed with, because the art, the passion, like, those things will come through, and it's so intricate and so perfect and imperfect the way that it is, and just stick to that. It works.
On a personal level, thank you for saying what you just said, because you reminded me of why I get up and do what I do every single day, because I'm obsessed with creating this morning show platform for men. I'm obsessed about it, Michael. And there's some days I fucking get up and I battle my brain. I battle the money going out. I battle the lack of revenue. But I'm building a vision, and I'm obsessed with this vision. And I'm obsessed with being different. I'm obsessed with doing things that others aren't doing. And
obsession is the only thing that'll keep carrying you through, because after 2 years, you're gonna fucking quit if you're not obsessed with it. Period.
Exactly. And in that obsession, you start to see the results. So I appreciate those words, man, because those words ring true for me. Because often, when you're doing something and you've done a lot of hard shit in your life, you got a lot of voices coming at you, right? And that obsession is what keeps you going. And the obsession is what makes you stand out. Because I suspect there's not a man in North America or a man in the world right now waking up every single morning obsessing how to create the greatest morning show on the planet. I'm sure there isn't.
Correct. And that's why, if you stick to because we're also authentic and originally ourselves. And if you stay true to that one thing, there's not a lot of people that are trying to do the same thing, but everyone's trying to do the same thing. So if you're picking that same thing, we're all the same. So if you stick to your truth, man, there's going to be just so little people doing that. And that's where originality comes from. And that's why that shit works. You just got to stick with it and love it enough to be willing to stick with it.
Yeah. Great advice, Michael. Before we go, brother, you got kids?
I do. I have a 21-year-old, almost 21-year-old daughter.
Jimmy, hold on a second here. Hold the fucking horses. Can we do a close-up on your face? Did you say a 21-year-old daughter?
Yeah, man. 21.
Dude, I'm looking in the camera right now. You got a 21-year-old daughter. You must have good lighting, or you have good surgeons, or you just have a good life, because, brother, you look exceptional. I thought you were like 25. I got Jimmy's facial expression coming up on my screen right now going, yeah, we're both kind of like falling over right now. I joke that I jack the lumens up every time my birthday comes up because the lumens just, take a few years off my face.
Yeah.
I'm 53. I'm volunteering it out there. I have a
53. You look fantastic, my friend.
Dude, how old are you? I got to ask you this.
47.
Holy smokes, bro. You look fantastic, man. You look awesome. This is I love Brofest with Keith and Michael here on the show here this morning. But I asked the question with your kids because I'm curious. Well, maybe a little different with your 21-year-old child. What has your daughter grown up watching from a film perspective, and what is she liking and what is she not liking?
It's she doesn't want to watch my shit. She just doesn't want to watch. I think that there's this thing where a child believes that if they see something they think it sucks.
Yeah.
That they're so honest that they might have to tell you it sucks.
Yeah.
I've dragged her in many films though. I've put her in a lot of the early stage stuff that I was creating.
Yes.
To be able to create films, and she was willing to do it. She was a good sport about it. But I think more than that, she sees me actually doing what I want to do, and that is important to me. To be able to, I'm not doing it to prove something.
Yes.
But I know that she's watching because I know the things that I tried to speak to her when I was younger.
Yes.
Didn't resonate as much as the things that I was doing. And so she brought on some of those early habits that I was before who I am right now, that I noticed in her that I wish I would have just pushed this further earlier. But she watches, and your kids are watching you. So fucking do it, because you're going to lead by example. As cheesy as that sounds, it's a fact, because they're not listening to you, they're watching you, And
Johnny talks about it all the time, man. The kids don't pay attention to what we say. The kids pay attention to what we're doing. Right.
Yeah.
So, and my lovely bride here says, Lauren says she has a cool dad too. And I'm suspecting that, although I'm suspecting Jimmy and Lauren, if we interviewed, what's your daughter's name?
Alexis.
I'm sure if we interviewed Alexis privately, she'd be like, oh yeah, my dad's kind of a fucking jerk sometimes, but he's pretty cool from time to time too.
Oh yeah, she'll probably say I'm an asshole, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Michael, man, listen, I'm gonna be. I have to be respectful of my time and your time, because I know I can hang out with you for a long time. I would love to have a second chat with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I got to be honest, I feel like it was a little bit rushed because of the time here. But I would love to do more of this with you.
I would too. 15 minutes is crazy, dude. I would love. I could sit here and talk about for hours, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely serious, and I want to do more of this. Maybe we even do a live in the lab segment, which I got coming up later today. But okay, so folks can connect with you on LinkedIn. They can find your stuff, Bad Monkey Pictures. Plug yourself, brother. One quick plug. Anything coming out here quickly? Movies? What's that?
So The Well Spouse is hitting the festival right now. We have a film that just came out, a short film that just came out, Distancia. It's up on YouTube right now. You can go check it out.
Yeah.
You won't be able to find anything, but I do see that there's a little bit of some kind of fan something happening on TikTok right now with the Well Spouse. So if you go look up hashtag Well Spouse and go check it, people are matching up some of the trailer material on TikTok. Go check it out. It's pretty awesome what people will do with your stuff. And that's part of your marketing, man. If you find the right thing that resonates with people will push it for you.
That's awesome. Michael Robert Kessler, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with you today, brother. I've had a lot of fun with you. Our time went by in a quick snap. I'm looking forward to grabbing a coffee with you later today and exploring some other ways we can continue our conversation. How does that sound?
I would love that, dude. Yeah, for sure. I responded that I'm good at 4:30 today. If you guys are cool,
yeah. And I got it. I think my math worked out well. I got you on the calendar for later today. So listen, I hope you've enjoyed this experience as much as I've enjoyed it with you.
I have, man. It was awesome. I appreciate you, dude.
Awesome. I appreciate you too. All right, Jimmy, let's get Kessler out of here. He's on the last name basis now with me. Michael, I'll talk to you later today, brother. All right, good. All right, Jimmy. Dude, I told you at the beginning of the show we weren't going to go until this time. What the hell does Uncle Keith know? Yeah. So, Jimmy, are we doing deep dive? And then we'll do the community corner, the creator spotlight. It was a great conversation. I got to be honest, I feel kind of guilty because I was like, I could have talked to the guy for an hour. But I'm like, I looked at the clock and I didn't want to take his time up, and I feeling my bladder and I'm like, okay, looking at your clock and looking at the 11 o'clock clock with Adam Peters coming up later this morning. I'm like, okay, I guess we should start wrapping it up. All right, listen, I teased the beginning of the show here today. And hey, we got more guests showing up. I just got a note on my watch here. All right, I teased the beginning of the show here today about how I got comfortable being alone. And I'm going to take a few moments to talk about that. This idea of being alone, solitude, and the power of being alone. You know, if you told me a few years ago that I'd find genuine comfort and joy in being alone, I probably may have laughed, or maybe a little would have laughed it off. I mean, I was the guy who I enjoy engagement. I enjoy, you know, communicating and so forth, and being around a group of people and so forth. But looking back, I realized that, you know, it was the time alone that put me into my own thoughts that helped me move myself and move my life forward. Right. And the shift for me didn't happen overnight. Jimmy, it came slowly. It came through moments that forced introspection, through the process of selling ICUC, through my life journey, taking time, you know, out in the yard after I left my journey at ICUC, gardening and planting and hanging out and spending time with my dogs, heading over to Amsterdam a number of years back with my camera, walking around, cycling around, enjoying the time alone, enjoying the time eating meals alone, you know, the raw honesty of the quietness, the therapy. And I got to tell you guys, those periods, they were powerful. It moved that external validation that sometimes we chase. It fell away. And I had no choice but to look inward. And Adam, I hear you, man. I hear you. I love being alone. I always joke that I'm going to buy an island and live there. I can't argue with you, Adam. As I get a little bit older, I'm enjoying the alone times. Sure, I love hanging out with my kids, love hanging out with my wife, but I don't mind the aloneness. It gives me time to be inside my own head, and it gives me time to look inward and look for the transformation that sometimes we all try to strike for. But here's something I've learned. And I think something that I think Adam can relate to is that being alone isn't the same as being lonely. And I think that's where many people get confused. They go, you're alone. Yeah, but I'm not lonely. Being alone means giving yourself the space to reconnect with who you truly are, beyond the labels. And again, Adam, I know you can relate to this because I know when you're alone, Adam, you're not lonely because I'm you, Adam. When I'm alone, I'm not lonely. No. I'm full of solitude when I'm alone. And I discovered a clarity when I'm alone that I never experienced before. What happens is those thoughts sharpen, the creativity skyrockets. And I see your comments there, Adam. There's this general feeling of feeling free. Have you ever traveled alone? Have you ever gone to a movie by yourself? Think about it. You know, we're so conditioned to go to movies with a friend or a partner or a family member. What do you do to a movie? You sit and watch a movie together. It's in silence. I'd invite you to go to a movie by yourself, not to be alone, but to go find some solitude. Man, watch your creativity skyrocket as you're in that movie theater alone, taking it all in. Watch it happen. Watch your brain, the neurons fire as you exit the theater by yourself, not rushing to discuss what you just witnessed, but spending time in what you've just observed. So I would invite you, try a movie by yourself, try travel by yourself. And you might find that at first the silence might be deafening, but I'm going to tell you, slowly it's going to become comforting. Slowly it's going to become quite empowering. I remember when I got off the plane, when I went to Amsterdam by myself, I was like, okay, here by myself. You're like, okay, you're kind of waiting for your friend or your partner. You're like, oh, but I'm by myself, making decisions by yourself, not having to worry about somebody else's decisions. Right? Not waiting for someone else's approval or feedback. I was just being. I was in the moment. And it was at that time, that trip, that time, I realized just how powerful that moment of being alone, not lonely, could be. Now, solitude isn't something I avoid. Not at all. It's something I actually actively seek out. And it's become an absolute cornerstone of my growth and my leadership. We talk about it often. Give yourself time to think. Give yourself time to be alone. Because when you're comfortable being alone, you build a foundation of strength and authenticity that is unshakable. because all you're worried about is yourself. It's at that point you stop performing for an audience. And in my experience, you start living genuinely. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you intentionally spent meaningful time alone? Not scrolling, not distracting yourself, not running from something that's in your head from over there, but truly alone with your own thoughts. You're going to ask yourself, what might you discover? What might you discover about yourself if you gave yourself that chance? Trust me, guys, trust me. The power you'll find in those quiet moments, it can possibly change everything for you. And if you go back to the beginning of the show and we had Mark Schneider, we talked about this, right? Get into your brain, stop and think, stop reacting, spend more time thinking, lean into being proactive, and watch the power of solitude change everything for you. Closing comments from Adam Hull right here. There's nothing wrong with going to the movies by yourself. I'm with you, brother. I'm just doing some paraphrasing. John Wick 3 was amazing by that way. Yes. And then we got fit presenter Mike McQuillan coming in. Traveling by myself is how I met my wife. There you go, Mike. That's funny, man. So there you go, guys. Give it some thought. How I got comfortable being alone and why it's powerful and why you might want to do it alone. And don't confuse being alone with being lonely. There's your deep dive discussion today, this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Okay, we're going to do the community corner, the creator spotlight. We're going to do it quickly here because Uncle Keith has something over there calling him, and it's called the restroom. Yeah, there's a true story. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the angry therapist, Jimmy. Let's do it. You ever feel like you're the one who's supposed to have it all together, but quietly you're falling apart? The marriage didn't work. The career just doesn't feel right. You're not who you thought you'd be at this point in your life, and that's where this creator started. He was a therapist going through a divorce. So he did one thing therapists are trained not to do. He shared his story, unfiltered, online, and in real time. And what started as a place to process pain turned into a platform that helped people feel like human again. Meet the Anger Therapist. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is excited to introduce you to John Kim, licensed therapist, best-selling author, and the voice behind one of the most honest newsletters on the internet. John doesn't lecture, he reflects, and he doesn't posture. He just tells the truth about relationships, fatherhood, fitness, masculinity, and all the uncomfortable stuff in between. 15 years after writing that first post, he's still doing the work, still pulling the curtain back so others feel less alone in their own process. Jimmy, I'm going to do something for a quick second here I've never done before. I'm going to run the music, and I'm going to step away for 30 seconds and be right back, Jimmy. Jimmy, keep the flow running, pal. If we don't do that, then we're not getting to the next segment on this show. Hey, I was watching a clip yesterday, and Shaquille O'Neal was doing something on the show here, and he may have almost shot himself where Uncle Keith there had to get to the restroom so that he didn't do anything crazy here. So listen, if you ever felt like traditional therapy or self-help wasn't for you, the Angry Therapist might be the voice you're waiting for. Jimmy, thanks for hanging out, brother, and keeping it going for me. There he is. There's the Angry Therapist, John Kim. Okay, let's do the next one, Jim. Dude, yeah, that was an emergency pee. Never happened before in the show. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I just did what I had to do. Okay, coming up next on the show, we're going to celebrate somebody from the LinkedIn platform. And let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. As Johnny Kraske would say, you know the kind of person who just gets it? They bring clarity without ego, kindness without fluff, and know how to communicate so people actually listen. Well, they're the person behind the scenes, making the mission sharper, the message stronger, and the work more human. This spotlight is for someone who is exactly like that. And for years, this guy's helped nonprofit founders and purpose-driven teams amplify Not Matters. Jimmy, not with loud marketing, but with messaging that moves. Jimmy, can you believe I just left the screen for like 90 seconds? That was the fastest situation I got myself in. Pretty good, eh? Like I just got it out just so fast, man. I just dumped the bucket in the water. This guy's a writer, a strategist, and a communicator who brings emotional intelligence and storytelling into every project. Jimmy, this is why people don't like to do live stuff, because like, yeah, but what happens if something goes wrong? Yeah, it's just what happens. And like, but how do you come back to the camera and microphone, Keith, and keep it going? You just keep it going. That's it. So this guy's a writer, a strategist, and a communicator who brings emotional intelligence and storytelling into every project. We're not talking Michael Robert Kessler. No, he's the guy from the previous segment. And this guy does it with humor, humanity, and heart. Nation, I'm going to invite you to be introduced this morning on the Community Corner Creator Spotlight, Matthew Rauff. With Shakin' Matt, freelance marketing consultant, ghostwriter, dad of twins, champion of men's mental health and modern leadership, Matthew just doesn't help people grow. He helps them grow with intention. So if you care about emotional intelligence, storytelling that connects, and leading with kindness, you're going to want to follow Matthew Rauff over on LinkedIn. I encourage you to do that. And here's how it works. Matthew, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you here so that we can hand you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight light and shine it on somebody else in your world so we can keep paying this segment forward. There we go. Okay, Jimmy, I'm starting to accelerate the speed of my voice and accelerate the speed of the exit of the show here, because I'm looking at the clock. I'm going, holy smokers. We have gone through this 2-hour show here. We just breezed through the whole damn thing. Coming back in a couple hours, we got Live in the Lab with Keith Bilous, sitting down with Adam Peters. Gonna have a good conversation coming in a couple hours. I encourage you guys to check out some of the Live and Lab stuff we got coming up. We got a few conversations in the bank, and I'm hoping to release them later today. This will be our third one, and that's sit down, long 1-hour interview conversations, some great humans, curious conversations that we're launching in the lab here. So I'm gonna get out of here because I got work to do. Jimmy's got work to do. And not that we weren't working for the last couple hours. This is the fun part you guys see. What you don't see, what happens after the scenes. So on behalf of myself, producer Jimmy, producer Melissa, making sure all the words come out of my mouth correctly. On behalf of Johnny, on behalf of Marty, fit presenter Mike McCullen, I appreciate you. Lauren, I love you, baby. Holroyd, always love having you in the lab, man. I'm a huge fan of yours. Adam Holroyd, huge fan of yours. You know what, Adam? You got to come on the show, man. I'd love to meet you, brother. We'd love to meet you. Rick Clody, I appreciate you too. Who else we got here as well? Philip Carter, see you as well. Good time as well. Guys, 8 o'clock Eastern time right here, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass to bed and achieve those big-ass, audacious goals. I'm your host, Keith Bilous. We'll see you guys in a couple hours live in the lab, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Jimmy, let's go, brother. Let's get out of here. See you guys later.